There's something quite magical about Nintendo Labo. The way that it breaks you out of just playing video games and into actively creating makes it more like an arts and craft project with video games built into it than the other way around. It's out today in the UK and EU, and our review is in the works, but last week we got to go hands-on with the various toys and all of the possibilities that it has to offer. Really, what Nintendo have put into the box is just the starting point, and there's a huge number of possibilities once you go beyond the initial creations and tutorials. Building those initial toys, though, is laid out in a wonderfully simple fashion. There's a little bit of Lego's gradual step-by-step creation process here, as you have the instructions presented to you either on the Switch screen or on a TV if you've got it docked. It's easy to skip ahead in your mind as an adult, but having everything clearly laid out and repeated instead of just going and the same on the other side is perfect for kids that Labo is really aimed at. What I got to build at the event was the basic RC car Toy-Con, a simple piece of cardboard that is easily pushed out of the sheet and then folded up and connected into itself. But there's far more complex creations after that, such as the house and the keyboard. Where Labo really shines though is in letting you then customize those creations. Grab some paints, some stickers, macaroni and PVA glue, pipe cleaners, and whatever else you fancy. In fact, we finished off the event by creating what I like to call Labo of a war. Of course, once the RC car is created, it's a neat toy, letting you buzz and move around with it. It is kind of magical the way that it does this by channeling the vibrations from the HD rumble of the Joy-Con into the little feet-like prongs at the bottom of it. But there's no real game to it at this point. You can turn it to do other things, like use the IR sensor on the right Joy-Con to hunt for IR targets, or if you've got a buddy with another Switch and Labo, then you can have these kind of sumo battles where you're trying to push each other out of an arena. But this is a game that you're creating for yourself, and you can then customize your Labo even further to have scoops, writing mechanisms, and more. Then there's the fishing mini game with the fishing rod, which lets you go, well, fishing. Winding in the handle to reel in your catch is actually quite a neat trick, and I was surprised at how fluid the motion was there. The piano then is perhaps the most amazing one for me. Again, it uses the IR sensor, but this time it's tracking keys and playing back different notes. You've only got one octave to play with, but again there's different modules that you can plug in and then you can turn them around and they can be used to change the sound, bend the notes, record and play back your tune, and there's also a card reader that you can use to adjust the tone, or, quite bizarrely, you can use it to create a cutout of a fish and then scan that into your in-game aquarium. Those fish will then appear in the fishing minigame. It's a really fun little quirky trick that the piano can do. The most game-like Toy-Con in the variety pack is the motorbike handlebars, giving you a little game in which you race along against other competitors. It is, I will admit, a little bit shonky, relying on motion controls and with an awkwardness to how you can hold it in hand and against your body. But again, I have to say, it's just so ingenious and it's clever in the way that it's been created. Of course, if you want an outright game, then it's the robot kit that you want to pick up. This is to build a full-on exoskeleton that's used to map your motions into the game so that you can control a robot and fight against other aliens, earning more abilities as you keep playing. It's fantastically clever the way that this has been put together, with bits of string attached to your feet and held in hand, which then pull on different paperweights within the backpack. You can actually see the position of these represented on the back of the robot in the game, and it's through this that you can then crouch to turn into a tank and drive around. You can stomp around and punch just in your regular pose, or stretch both arms out to then fly up into the sky and use the tilt motion sensors to direct yourself around the world. Another neat trick, you can drop the visor that is on your head, which also has got a Joy-Con in it, and this then toggles between third-person view and first-person view. However, as I said before, these games are really just the starting point for Nintendo Labo. The longevity really comes in the garage, where you can take all of the various inputs and then map them to different outputs, whether it's the IR sensor making the other Joy-Con rumble, having buttons making different sounds, or whatever. You can create a guitar for yourself, you can have a cacophony of cats sound when it's triggered by someone opening a door, thanks again to the IR sensor, and there's just a world of possibilities for you to explore. Some might find it frustrating not to have a clear goal of what you're meant to do anymore, but the joy will come from thinking up new ways to combine the inputs, your own cardboard creations, and more together. As I wrote last week, Nintendo Labo is a showcase for everything that the Nintendo Switch can do. It's smart, it's flexible, and it's just so wonderfully imaginative. For adults, it might be something more of a temporary curio, but for your children, it has the potential to feed their imaginations, their creativity, and their playfulness in a way that very few video games manage to do. Thanks as ever for checking out our video, and we hope you've enjoyed it. If you have done so, then please do like, subscribe, and share it with others. You can also come and visit us over on the6thAxis.com, and we will hope to see you again soon. Goodbye.